Welcome, friends, to the Soul Talk podcast, a show where we explore and uncover the path to the heart, amplifying your conscience. Join me as we meet incredible souls who are in this journey and learn from their experience and different methods that will make you vibrate your heart. Let's get into it. Hi, welcome back, everyone. We're in Soul Talk. My name is Monica Ramirez, and we're here to empower you and open your conscience a little bit more every day. And we have a very special invite for the second time. We have Paige Yin from Japan, correct?
I'm in Malaysia right now.
Malaysia. Okay. So she is really an authentic human being. And that's what we're going to be talking today. And I really appreciate you accept my invitation for Soul Talk. And thank you for being here, Paige.
Thank you for having me, Monica. It's always a pleasure to, be on your show and talk to you.
Our topic today is going to be how true you are to yourself. And do you know what it is that being true to yourself? So, Paige, thank you so much. And let us know what it for you means being true to yourself. Because for everybody, there's no a simple one truth. There are different truths for everybody. But it is interesting to know different how everybody thinks about that. What is being true to yourself?
Okay. Being true to myself usually means that I'm doing things that is following my heart and soul. It's more like it's not based on logical, like a lot of people like think of like operating in a daily life like based on logical senses and so on, and like decide like what is right, what is wrong. But what is right, what is wrong, I think the most important is from the heart. Like when you feel things is right and then you do it because you believe that it is right. Yeah, I think that is living to your true self.
But at the same time, how do you know is your true self and it's not influenced by the society, by parents, by TV, by the external influences that we get? That's where we get lost. What is the true self, right?
Definitely. Yes. And that's why I mentioned like not just based on logical, like, deduction, like, based on all the facts and so, because that is always about like when you're basing things on facts and stuff like that, it is more like you are taking on opinions of others, like what other people are saying that right or wrong, and then you base your action on that. Excuse me. And when you are following your heart, like that little nudge, like in the center of your heart, like when sometimes you feel that, that is where you feel like that is where the soul is talking to you. Sometimes I just like think of it that way.
That works amazing with people. I'm not being denying what you're saying. I totally agree with you. But I know when we work with clients, you and me, and we work with all this finding themselves and so forth. You're a Reiki master, you're teaching in Reiki, so you know about energy and so forth. But many people, they are not in contact with themselves. They don't even know who they are, how they're going to be true to themselves. They're trying to, if they're people pleasers, they're not being true to themselves. Oh, come on, we have those kind of clients all the time.
Yes.
And
Yes.
how would you work with a client like that?
So I can get what you mean because I was a people pleaser back then, like in my early 20s. I always like, do anything to get attention, to get, praises and so on. I think the first step for all of those who want to find themselves is to actually set a proper boundaries, like, to actually put themselves first, like have the boundaries to like, I want to take care of myself more than those people I want to please. I think that would be the first step. You have to decide, like you come first in a certain situation. It can be small situation like doing something that makes you happy rather than spending more time to do things for others. It can be it can be hard to start, but it can start from the small things.
And at the same, well, what I advise a lot of my clients is to journal who you are, what do you like, what you, not what other people tell you that you should like or you should be.
True, very true. Journaling, meditation, all those work, because these are like time that you give to yourself to discover who you are. Ask yourself questions sometimes. Let's say ask yourself like even the simple stuff. What is your favorite food? Like what is your favorite color? And decide for yourself instead of trying to, let's say, take on your favorite things from those people you love.
Yes, completely agree. I I'm more I'm thinking right now in my time when I was married and when I was and that I should like certain foods or I should like certain flavors or colors or things like that. And after you get out of that marriage or you end that relationship, that's when you say, oh, I don't like the colors of my walls. Or, oh, I really do not like that fruit or that vegetable. It's like, why you continue buying it? If I'm not even with that person. It takes you a while actually to find the true self. Because for a long time you were doing what to please others and or not provoke a fight or just we guys got to school, let's put it like that, and be accepted as a good wife or as a good mother. What is a good mother should be or look like or so or feel like, and that's where we get confused, right?
Definitely. And I think sometimes social media do play a big part as well, as you spend time there and you see what everyone else are doing and they got tons of likes and so on, and you feel like, hey, I should do that too, even though that might not really align with you. I'm not saying that people should not try. Like if you see like, hey, that is a cool thing, like I want to try, then by all means try and discover whether you like to do it or not. If you do not like it, then why are you continuing it?
Yes, that's where we get confused when we have all these fears at the same time. The fears can contribute to stop being true to yourself. Correct.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, all the influences, not just social media, but also TV and everything like your people around you tell you, your bosses. Yeah, I have a big part with my bosses. Like my boss, like know how to not say manipulate, but he knows how to make people do things that he wants us to do, like make his staff do things that he wants us to do, and then eventually we get caught up with it. And yeah, that was like recently I actually like sit with myself and reflect back on those time and was like, wow, I did a lot of things that I actually did not want to do. Yeah.
But at least you're honoring yourself when you notice that you're doing that you what you don't want to do. Like when I noticed the colors of my house, they were like totally dark and so forth. And in fact, I bought a house with almost very dark. When I like windows, I like light, I like and why even I bought a house like that because that's what my ex would like it. He like it more dark. He didn't want. He don't like the sun, and he likes it more cold. And we still live in Texas, so it's gonna be hot. So, but do we even make a big investment thinking that I would like the darkness. I would like not having the sun, and I would like the colors of my walls dark at the same time. And that's when you realize how much I was lying to myself that I was living happy.
True. Yeah. Wow. Thinking about like things that I did as well, like I do, because I also stayed with my mom for a long time and I compromise a lot. And yeah, like it was only like last 2 years that I broke out of, like kind of like I moved out of the house, and then I discover more and more things that I can do and that I like parents that they are sometimes overprotective, and they'll be like, oh, you should not cook because you can't cook. Like I always like, this is a big one, like you can't cook, and I always think that I can't cook. And after I move out on myself, like on my own, like I start to need to cook because it's part of like survival and so on. And then I discovered that I can make pretty good food. Yeah. So sometimes like other people's words can stay with you. And at this time, if you feel like you want to try doing something, if you feel like, hey, there is this little nudge in your heart, like saying that, hey, I am curious. Like the curiosity is something that everyone should follow, like just try it. Like as long as it doesn't harm you, does not harm other people, try it and see how it goes. And sometimes you might discover new parts of yourself that you were never given chance to explore back when you were with someone else,
Yes, those are the ones we call them programs, precisely because it get programmed to us that we're not good enough, or not, or we don't deserve this, or we don't deserve the best job, or the best mate, or the best dress, or whatever it is that we want, or we can earn that job, or whatever. And that's where it gets, when we finally we get rid of those programs. If we observe it, we can change them. But if we're not observing it, it's like, oh no, I can't cook, or oh no, I can't open the windows, or oh no, I can't do those kind of stuff. It became a program that we can grow old and die in whatever program it is, because the old generations actually they did die with the old programs because they did not realize the life that they were living. It was not what it was real, right?
Definitely. Yeah. And programming, there's also a lot of fears that is preventing someone to, step out and explore, because it always comes from the fear space. Like my mom told me that I can't cook because she is afraid that I will burn down the house, and I'm always afraid of the fire. Then I was just like, oh no, I can't cook because I might burn down the house. Like there is always that fear. Like maybe you mentioned that you can't open the window because there is the fear programming over there. Like if you open the windows, maybe bad things going to happen to you. Like if you notice that pattern, like yeah, like to anyone listening, if you notice that pattern, that there is that fear that is preventing you from doing that thing, doing that thing you might feel excited or curious about doing, then why not try it a little bit? Like, you don't have to take 10 steps. Like if you like me, like cooking, I did not start with cooking a big meal. I did not start with like making a whole turkey or something like that. I start with cooking an egg. And I'm fine with cooking an egg. And I'm just like from there progressing, Yeah, small step is very, very important to deprogram ourselves. Yeah.
This remind me when my son moved back. He's 25, and I'm very busy. I work from home, but I always very busy. And one day I told him, okay, can you cook this meat, please, so we can have dinner when we finish? Mom, I only know how to do a fry steak, and that's it. And like, okay, do it. And like, are you sure? Well, you said that you only know how to do this. Like, do it. And I just trust that he was going to do a great job. Well, now he's doing very sophisticated meals, like the one that did not believe enough in himself that he could do something, but he was just needing someone that trusts him. And unfortunately, mothers are very intricate in this and how much we believe in ourselves. If the mother actually told you, oh, you're not good. My mother used to say I was a terrible woman, I was a terrible mother, I was a terrible daughter, I was terrible in everything. So it took a lot to actually believe in me. And now that she's gone, I can say, I am a great woman, I am a great artist, I am a great mother, I am a great cook, I am a great this, I'm a great that, because I don't have any more the influence. But how many people are still following what the mother is the same? Because the mother is usually, not all the time, is the one that takes care of us. In certain cultures, that's how it works. In the Mexican culture, at least, That's the majority. It's changing, but still, at
Mhm.
least my generation is still the mother.
Mhm.
That is the one that have that big influence in all of us. And our limiting beliefs, it is created by them.
Yeah, same. Over here is usually also mothers, but father have like more strict rules and like they'll be working, they don't care. But moms would be the one who is like trying to raise us with the so-called right morality and taking care of us and so on. So yeah, same here.
And that takes also to the programs of how the females should act and how they should. And that's what it has got us stuck for so long. I don't agree with the feminism because that's too extreme. But
Mm.
also at the same time, it had got us stuck for so long. We lost our power. We lost who we truly want to be.
Yes, totally. Yeah, like that is something very interesting over here. Because my country over here, most women still don't have, like they do hold some good position, but women working are generally being, uh, not to say looked down upon, but not like getting a very good um reputation. Like if the woman is working, then they are not taking care of the family and child. Most of the time, like older people that tends to think that. And I think, yeah, that is something that it can change, but I think women like us all need to make the change ourselves. Like we can't just say that, hey, we should change and do nothing. Like if you're talking about that, then nothing will change. Like we have to take the action, like take back our power. Like how say, if you really feel like you should work, then go out and do work and do your best at your work, and if you want to get a high position, do your best at it. And if a woman wants to stay home and have like a kids and take care of their kids and be the best mom, you should be as well. I think these are like the choices women should make, and women have the power to make. Like we all have to believe in ourselves about that. Yeah. Mhm.
And that happens when we're really true to ourselves.
Mm.
If
Yes.
we're not true to ourselves, we're just gonna follow the patterns or the patterns, the programs that they implanted on us because we accept them.
Mhm.
And later on in life,
Definitely.
it can happen with teachers, it happen with politics, it can happen with influences a lot in Facebook or in any social media. I remember the conspiracy theorist. They That's a rabbit hole that it can get you stuck. Yes, it can make you think outside of the box, but it can
Mm.
make you inside an a hole, like a rabbit hole. And you can lose yourself in following others without you thinking what it is right. Correct?
Definitely. So I personally, I do always encourage, like I got friends who is like, I have this, like, I looking at this page and they're saying like this. I always be like, do you believe it's true? Like I always ask them like, what do you believe? Like my friends, my clients, like because it does not matter what other people say is true. Do you believe it's true? Does that work for you? Yeah. How does that change your life? Yeah, we ask them. Yeah, and they'd be like, go back and think about that. Very deep question, I know. Mm.
But I believe those questions are important. Are important that everybody asks themselves, do I truly believe this is true? Or what this idea it is coming from? It is
Mm.
coming from the TV or a
Mm.
group of friends that I'm trying to fit in, or it comes from the church that is saying that energy and all what we do is diabolic because they do not understand it. It comes from the
Mm.
judgments a lot of times of other people, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, people do tends to fear what they don't understand. So yeah, definitely.
Yes, or when we're trying to fit in,
Yes,
it comes from the
definitely.
people pleaser.
I do understand fitting in is a very important part of humanity because like back, it's a kind of like the genetic inheritance we get from our ancestor. Like back then, we have to fit into a group in order to survive. Because lone wolf, you can't survive for long. If you get outcast from your villages, you get outcast from your group, you might die. Like get fit, like get eaten by the wild animals. But right now, nowadays, it's not necessarily true anymore. And I think that we need to choose our our community better. We have to think for ourselves and choose the community that really fit for us.
Remember, we just passed our big experience in 2020 when all the world was in lockdown, and we were needing to, the community, it was just online because we could not see anyone. How would you feed that to be true to yourself when you're not having the external influence in person, at least, as
Mm-hmm.
much? And there was a lot of chaos and fear in the TV and in the news and so forth. We didn't know what was happening in March in 2020.
March of 2020, I literally at that stage, it was strange for me because I literally quit my job and flew to a new country for a new beginning. Like at that time when the whole thing gone down, I was just like, it's time for a new start, and I'm in a new country. I do not know anyone. I am very grateful that I still have a few friends, like a few friends that keep me grounded at that part at the point. Yeah, but yeah, like physical community is tough. Like in those time, I do understand. I think that led me to build up some of the online community as well. Like I think in 2020, that's where I get to know you and the rest of yeah. So it's like yeah, it's a like it can be fearful, but that can be, if you see that as an opportunity, you might find a new community of your own. But you have to step out of that comfort zone, like not relying on the same old people in your life, and be a little bit more brave to show yourself. Yeah, the more you show yourself, the more you act yourself, to allow yourself to indulge in things that you like and talk about things that you like, the more you get to attract people who are closely matched to your vibe at the moment. Likes
Yes,
who to like. Yeah.
I do agree on that. And in the process of being true to yourself, sometimes you have to let go people in your life. It doesn't matter. And it might be painful. It might be your family, it might be your husband or your boyfriend, or it can be your your best friend.
Mm.
And that might be very painful and scary at the same time.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I did let go of some of my old friends back then as well because they do not agree with how I want to live my life. Like I want to quit my job, I want to start a new life in Japan back then. And eventually I dive into spirituality and start with the business. And not everyone can understand, like especially from my own life, not everyone can understand what I'm doing now. So sometimes we have to let those go, because if we hang on to them, we are literally stumping our growth. We are actually holding ourselves back.
And at the same time, you're not being true to yourself.
Yeah, true to yourself. True to yourself is, yeah, like true to yourself is knowing when you want to let go, when you need to let go of people who are not good for you as well.
Now, let's dive in why it is important to be true to yourself.
Why is it important to be true to yourself? I literally think that is a person's superpower.
Yes.
It is. Yeah, when you're true to yourself, you gain that confidence. You be doing things that make you happy, and when a person is happy, they can do so much more than when a person is not happy. Like I compare like myself nowadays doing what I love. Every day I actually like go to bed knowing that I'm doing something I love and it's helping people. And the next morning I can wake up more energized and excited, like, hey, I'm going to help more people. I'm going to, do these things that I love doing, that is more energy into the daily life compared to if you are like compared to my days, like back in the work, like I'm doing things just because everyone tell me to do. Go and get a 9 to 5, so that you get a stable life. I would think some of those days are actually depressing. I don't think I have depression, but I can see some of those days where it's like dark and I'm just like not motivated and have to drag my feet to work. Wow, like there's a big difference. Yeah. So yeah, like be true to yourself. I was in Japan in 2020, I discovered that is just another excuse to get myself back into the cycle. So that's why I decided to not find a job and started my spiritual business. And here I am, yeah. It talks
Yeah.
about
Then basically, it is about just to recap for everybody. because then it was less painful to realize that, oh my God, I provoke all this to myself. Oh my God, how I choose all this, that, and I can't be the victim anymore. So I can't lie to myself anymore. So, and this is what you're saying at the same time.
I have the same realization. Like sometimes I'll look back at old self and be like, well, that life seems simpler, but it is not something that I want to go back to because yeah, it just does not feel right to continue. For me, it's like also lying to myself, but also continue to numb myself of the things that I realize, but I do not want to see.
Yes, it is when there's the difference between you thinking life is happening to you, or life is happening for you. That is the only difference when you start becoming responsible of your own thoughts, emotions, and actions. And you want to go back to sleep. It's like the movie of the Matrix. Let's put it like that. You want the blue, the red pill.
Yes. Yes. The Matrix is a very good the whole series, even like the newest one too. Yeah, they have a whole big message about being your true self and do you want to go back to the normal life or you will be willing to fight your way to knowing the truth, which is like ugly sometimes, but when you realize the truth, that's where you can make changes.
Yes, it is true. Beautiful Paige. Do you have something else that you would like to add?
Mm, I don't think so. I think yeah, we cover pretty well like the topic itself. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. And if this resonates with you, please share it. It might not, it might help you, or it might help someone, your friends, or someone that you love. And please share it. And we will appreciate that because that way may help someone else. And don't forget, always be true to yourself and be always unique and be always you. Thank you so much for watching Soul Talk and or listening Soul Talk too. And thank you so much. And thank you. Thank you, Paige.
Thank you, Monica. I appreciate you. Thank you, everyone.